I don't think I can take a risk like that.
Well, then you shouldn't have let her fire me.
I'm right.
I know, and I'll do it, but...
We still have to tell your mother.
I'm kicking you out of your office. Yes, you. This is not her office yet.
Cuddy at no point in time has regretted a decision as much as the one to hire Masters in this very moment. Not only did she come in at her plotting a crime, but if she stops the crime, then her mother's life will be put at risk. Very excited to be reacting to House MD Season 7, Episode 11, Family Practice. On this channel, we are reacting to all 177 House videos, and this will be episode 143. Let's see if I can get the diagnosis before House does as a doctor working in London.
She's not telling us we look fat.
It's a major breakthrough.
My heart's doing that weird thing again.
Beating?
What is it?
We need to get you to the hospital.
Get her a cardiologist. You don't want me involved.
This is my mother.
Treadmill test went well.
Is it connected to my other symptoms?
Which other symptoms, Mom?
It's all in my file.
There are 15 years of clinic visits in this file.
We'll monitor you, and we'll give you a thyroid test.
Is that Cuddy's mom?
Certain parts of her.
Should we consider STDs? What does Azarcon mean?
Mexican herbal medication for stomach problems. Your mom is doing the help.
Go, Mom.
She's been giving me lousy advice about it for 5 years.
Why didn't you tell me about it?
I know that you're worried about money.
Lead poisoning wouldn't cause all my symptoms. My hand just started to shake. It's a side effect of these arthritis pills.
Sugar pills.
You made her feel like a fool.
It's gonna be okay, but she's an AFib at 170.
Oh, God. You're not off the case. You are staying on. She just can't know about it.
Fast heart and fast sugar pill moves by House, all while Cuddy's mom is not slowing down in the bedroom front as her married household help is helping her on a different front. She may be meeting a very different Jesus that night though if the team don't find out what's wrong with her, so what could it be? Well, we know aside from her ticker's accelerated ticking that she's also had diarrhea, constipation, joint pain, anemia, a hip replacement, and exposure to this Mexican herbal medicine with lead inside. The team have already treated for the lead though, and she's still not better, which drops that off the likely list. I remember earlier Cuddy was saying that she had something called macrocytic anemia, which is one of the more specific signs from the list. What does that mean? Well, it could be that she has B12 or folic acid deficiency, or that she's losing blood and the cells are being released before they're mature, which would mean a high reticulocyte count. Alcoholism could potentially do it as well, but if she's anemic and has had a change in bowel habit, we would not want to miss a bowel cancer. That means we should be checking her iron levels and doing a poo test for blood in the poo that we may not be seeing with our eyes. Bowel cancer probably isn't top of House's diagnostic list though, so what else could be? Well, I mean, to be fair, the alcohol that I mentioned before would fit, and she's generally quite cranky, lives alone, and potentially could be having mental health difficulties. A secret drink or two then wouldn't be unheard of, although why then would she want them to search for other causes? I guess House has already touched on her anxiety and proved she was overly worried about getting tremors from what she didn't realize were sugar pills. Could that be it? I mean, again, not very House level, but I'll go with alcoholism as my first diagnostic guess. Let's get more clues.
Please, stay away from my patient.
Could be leukemia, anemia from taking over the marrow, AFib from infiltrating cardiac muscle.
He just started a bone marrow biopsy. Thiamine deficiency fits better than leukemia.
You think she's an alcoholic?
We're gonna have to slip her the thiamine pills.
Alcoholic?
Put him in an antacid bottle. Just tell her it's for stomach problems.
I don't think she'll lie to me.
Addicts lie.
Tell me honestly, how much have you been drinking?
I am not a drunk.
For your stomach pains, do what you need to do. You were right, as usual.
But I'll give you one case as a tryout. You kick ass, I put you on retainer.
I'll take it.
She spiked a fever. It's 102. You were wrong about the alcoholism. Kaufman rushed the biopsies. It's not cancer.
He'll just get better on his own, so why would you take this case?
Aren't there other ways of keeping masters occupied?
Not according to my sexual harassment seminar. Heart problems were first.
Endocarditis.
You switch your meds.
This is nuts. This is way too complicated.
Hang an IV bag.
She's dying!
That doesn't mean we should all go to jail to save her.
Or tampering with IV lines clearly pushes Foreman's already overstretched ethical boundary to a point of no return. This is getting spicy. House must definitely be feeling the heat there, as well as the ethical enforcement on his team has also led him to have to redirect Masters before even being able to do a differential with the rest of the team. Usually he wouldn't need to resort to this kind of manipulation, but his powers of control on his team seem to be fading. This is also Cuddy's mom doesn't fade away from existence though, so how can they make sure that doesn't happen? See, Dr. Kaufman has the proposed treatment as prednisone for lupus and House wants antibiotics for endocarditis. If either are wrong, it could spell game over for Grandma Cuddy, but what if they're both wrong? I say that because it would be unheard of for the fever in endocarditis to come up a few days after it was bad enough to crank up her heart rate to 170. For context, a normal adult heart rate is between 60 and 100. So 170 is definitely pushing it. Historically though, these House episodes haven't stuck too well to the accuracy of when the symptoms come on because it helps with the mystery of it all if they all come down as separate revelations. Either way, we've got possible increased sexual desire, fast heart rate, anemia, and now fever. I have a theory. Cuddy's mom hits menopause and she goes to a specialist that gives her hormone replacement, but that also includes testosterone to give her a bit of an energy boost. That then leads her to explore, which we know she's already done, and she picks up an STI. It goes unnoticed initially, but now it's 5 years onwards and it's slowly been doing work in the background. So if it was something like syphilis, that could now affect the heart, the brain, and cause fevers as well. Treatment wouldn't be too tough with antibiotics and could give a complete cure. Steroids here though would be catastrophic, which makes the team's ethical decision very tough. Break the law or potentially let her die. Either way, I'm going for syphilis as my second diagnostic guess. Let's get more clues.
You're losing control because this is your girlfriend's mom.
That's because the situation is completely screwed up. Do it or you're fired.
Give me your prescription pad.
I used to win awards for volunteer work. I went to Guatemala and fixed cleft palates. Then this thing with the kid, Rachel's brother.
Stay out of that, too.
I saw your son's file. I think he might have a very small bleed in his brain. He needs a cerebral angiogram today. Get in your car and meet me at the hospital.
How many idiot doctors does it take to switch an IV?
I'm worried that he's switching your mother's medications.
It's illegal. I wasn't expecting something like this.
We're having a little trouble hanging the right IV. Fastest way is with your help.
You are always tougher on me than Julia. Why is that?
Not. I have more in common with her. I like her more than you.
It's an anatomical variant of the skull, bone in proximity to a blood vessel.
Good news for him.
Doesn't make any sense. She's on prednisone. How could she get an allergic reaction?
It started in the heart. Endocarditis still fits. It's just got to be fungal. Amphotericin B.
It's a poison. That's why it kills fungi.
I don't think I can take a risk like that.
Well, then you shouldn't have let her fire me.
I'm right.
I know, and I'll do it, but...
We still have to tell your mother.
I'm kicking you out of your office. Yes, you. This is not her office yet.
Cuddy at no point in time has regretted a decision as much as the one to hire Masters in this very moment. Not only did she come in at her plotting a crime, but if she stops the crime, then her mother's life will be put at risk. Interesting though, isn't it, that the mother's pride is putting her life at risk when if she just went ahead on the easy route, then she'd be back out playing STI roulette with Jesus in no time. Also very interesting that House says this isn't Master's office yet, because I was thinking she was gunning for his job, not Cuddy's. Maybe though their relationship can finally work if Cuddy finds someone else who's smart enough to hold House accountable. Very cool writing. All this while Kaufman is probably holding himself accountable for the allergic reaction while having no idea that it was the antibiotics that were switched in that did it. The confusion is multiplied by the fact that prednisone is a treatment for allergic reactions, not a trigger for it. So how can one be allergic to the treatment of allergies? Oh, the irony. Diagnostically, we have pretty much zero new clues except for an allergic reaction to an antibiotic, which isn't really consistent with any other diagnoses. I mean, Maybe if she had eosinophilic granulomatosis with polyangiitis, also known as Churg-Strauss, that could lead to more allergies in all fairness and explain some of the other symptoms, although doesn't quite fit. Either way, let's go for Churg-Strauss as my third and final diagnostic guess, although it probably is just fungal endocarditis and I've already lost. We are locked in.
If you tell anyone, I will destroy your career.
Lying about me won't work. Everybody knows your reputation.
Buried in your coma patient's big file is a form that doesn't allow treatment.
You set me up?
Because this patient is the highest priority.
You made her think I was hiding her son being sick.
You failure.
Dr. Kaufman? I need to speak with you and the patient alone.
You're the dean of medicine.
I want you off my case.
That's exactly right.
Don't get excited, you're fired too.
I'll get the ambulance.
Abby, you just killed her. You never confront her. And it pisses me off. Get me my patient back.
The only time I ever see light in your eyes is when you hear me talking about my job. You trust my medical judgment. If you transfer to Princeton General, you'll die. I am not letting you leave my hospital.
If you're so great, how come you're not running your department anymore?
I was being sarcastic.
She can't recognize sarcasm.
Deficit in the right perihippocampal gyrus.
Heart rate 170. Nurse!
She never stopped being poisoned.
The muscle's black.
Metallosis. It's cobalt poisoning. Start chelation.
I didn't know that you thought that little boy had a bleed in his head, but you are a good person.
You were unfired. You sold me out, even though you knew that you were going to get thrown out of med school. Kind of impressive. I need you to protect me from doing something Cuddy will regret.
Why would you want to keep this?
So I can mount it on the wall like a moose head.
Sarcasm may be the lowest form of wit, but it's the highest form of diagnostic magic. Masters stood up to House, Taub stands up to his wife's husband, and Cuddy to her mother, and the backbone trifecta has given birth to the salvation of Cuddy's mum. Shame about her hip though, as it was slowly leaking cobalt into her system. To be fair, this is possible even though it's exceptionally rare. It usually happens when there's metal in both the hip socket and the femur that slots into it, as the metal on metal contact wears each other down, causing it to leak the cobalt into the bloodstream. Rashes, digestive issues, reduced sensation in fingers and toes, hearing loss, and even hypothyroidism are possible outcomes. I have to say, I've never seen this in a patient, but maybe I need to keep an eye out for it more keenly after this episode. Great one, I have to say, 8.4 out of 10 entertainment, with the whole changing drips from the background and stopping the transfer, 8.1 out of 10 accuracy, and 8.5 out of 10 diagnosis. I could have potentially gotten this one. They did mention that she had a hip replacement, but this episode doesn't make full sense until you watch the previous one, where a drill sergeant has the tables turned on him.